Hey, welcome to Legacy Maker Season 1. Right now, we're living in a time of incredible culture change, and we believe that every man has the opportunity to rise up and become the leader and the legacy maker he was created to be. This podcast is all about exploring what it means to step into your purpose, embrace your calling, and build a legacy that will last for generations to come. We'll be diving into raw conversations that will challenge you in the way that you think about masculinity, leadership, faith, and impact. Along the way, we'll be joined with some extraordinary guests who will inspire, equip, and ignite something new within you. I promise you that. This isn't just another podcast. This is a movement. And if these conversations resonate with you, I'm going to invite you to please rate it, review it, or share it with somebody so we can keep this mission alive. Together, we can shape the future, one legacy at a time. So let's get started. Hey everybody, my name is Roger Salazar. I'm the host of this incredible podcast called Legacy Makers. And I'm so excited, so thrilled about what is to come. And I just want to give you a quick background as to why, how we decided about doing this and where did this come from and why did we made a decision about this specific podcast. And I want to tell you that I started with the idea of having a podcast for a long time, guys. I mean, I was just like, gotta do something. I felt within my soul, within my spirit, I gotta jump into to do something. But really, I didn't have I didn't know what the path to follow. It has been 2 years of thinking and planning. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go into do a podcast about mortgages and real estate because that's what I do. And I've been doing it for a long time. So I thought, this will be a great thing since I have the experience. And something just didn't land on that. I was like, man, that's just not it. And so then I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast about ministry. So I pray about it and really felt, okay, this may be something that the people will resonate with since I've been in the ministry, in some shape or form since I was 18. So I thought, you know what, that should help some of my experiences, or at least what not to do, right? Or at least the what to do and what not to do. So I thought, that may be the one. But then I just I didn't feel something jump within me. Well, then I said, okay, you know what? I want to do something about sports. I love sports. I consider myself a knowledge of the subject. I have a knowledge on the subject. I'm not a guru like my son, but I feel like, I can talk about sports in different arenas, right? That just wasn't it. So the more that I really was digging deep inside of me and say, okay, what is this about? I realized the question that popped into my heart was, who am I? Who am I? And so I said, well, I am a mortgage lender. That's just not what I am. That's what I do. And I said, well, I'm a minister. I've helped in ministry. That's what I've been called to do, but that's just not who I am. And so I began to question myself. Who am I? What is inside of you? What is inside of me that makes me who I am? What is inside of me that makes me the person that I am? And the simple answer to that, to everyone that is hearing me today, is that I am a man. That's it. I am a man. I am a son of God. I'm a son to my amazing parents, incredible parents who have truly have been an example to me in many ways. Probably another episode I will talk a little bit more deep into that. But I am a son. I am a father. I'm a dad of two amazing kids who continue to amaze me every single day. And hopefully one day I'm actually gonna have my son as one of the guests, because he has just an incredible journey that he's in medical school right now. So I just want him to to talk to us a little bit about that and so forth. And my son-in-law also will be here, so I'm super excited about that. But also, I am a husband of an incredible wife. I mean, she is literally the best thing about me, and what makes me is really having the right woman by my side. And a lot of people look at me and they say, well, you've done this or you've done that. And I tell you, man, everything is rubbish, when it comes down to it. But the decision that I made to marry my wife now 29 years, it has been probably the best decision I could have made. So, but I am a husband. That's what I am. I am a man. And because of who I am, and because of that reality, that concept that sometimes is so difficult to understand, because I am a man, I want to be a legacy maker that is a man that fulfills me. I want to be able to leave a legacy behind me, not just a name, but a legacy, by recognizing what is inside of. And to be honest, guys, in today's society, there's a lot of confusion, man. I mean, my goodness. There's a lot of confusion about what truly means to be a man. Everyone has an opinion. Everybody has an idea. But many cannot even describe what is a man, or at least not in the ways that make sense. And the world has been drilling into both men and women about what to expect of a man, what to expect the man to be. And unfortunately, these ideas really, really, many, many times, they don't even align with God's word. They don't align with God and his design and his master plan for you and I. So we're going to take a moment today in today's episode called What is in You, to reflect on what is right here. What makes me a man? What is inside of me? What makes me this thing that I call a man? And I'm not talking about be a male. I'm talking about be a man. And we're gonna dive into that in Genesis. Let me just grab here. And yes, I'm gonna be reading some scriptures here. And the reason for that, guys, is if you don't read your Bible, I mean, I just encourage you, man, to this book has been for generations, and it has been a light into a path of darkness. This book has inspired many and has given people a roadmap or where to go. So if you haven't explored the Bible, I would just encourage you to do that, man. There are some free apps you can do. YouVersion. There's incredible opportunities for you to learn a little bit more about everything, every aspect, every subject. But anyway, in Genesis 1:27 says, so God created man to his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So in a nutshell, we were created in the image of God. That is the key. The image of God is the foundation of your and my identity. We are made to his image, and this is the truth that stands regardless of what society says or the world tries to define you. God made you to his image with a purpose, and within all of us lies everything that we need to fulfill that purpose. So let me just break it down. God created you to his image, so he gave you everything you need to fulfill, because he created you and I with a purpose. And so that purpose that you have within you, you have everything to fulfill that purpose, to do exactly that which you were created to do. And that is because he made you to his image. And that's super important for us to understand. In fact, in Genesis 9:6 says, the man is God's representative on earth. Guys, we are called to be a picture of God in every aspect of our lives. We meant to reflect his character, his power, his values, his strength, his determination. That's what you and I were created to be his representatives on this planet. And that's where the world hates us, because we are his direct representatives on this planet. And that is the basics of being a man. It's not defined by the social pressures. It's not defined by what others say that you should be. It's not defined by your successes or your failure. It's defined by the image that God himself created you and I. I hope this kind of sits in your heart. I was reading one time a book from John Eldridge, and he was talking about a story of a man that went to Africa And and this is a long story, but I want to make it as short as I can because I have a couple things that I like to cover today. While in Africa, uh, so, one of the locals, he was in this sort of camp. One of the locals came to him and said, "Hey, in the Western world, how does that anybody determines when a man becomes a man? What does that look like?" So he started thinking about it. He goes, "Man, well, it's 18. You can start. I guess you can start driving. So that could be the reason. The society says that you're a man. But then 21 is the age where you can start drinking. So that could make you a man. 16, you're driving, so that could make you a man." So he was kind of wrestling with, how would I know? How do I know when a man becomes a man? And so he asked him. He goes, "Man, I'm struggling with the answer. But how about you? When do you decide who is a man? When a man becomes a man in your society?" He goes, "Well, that's simple. When we take a boy, and when we feel that at the age of 12, and all the men come and take him away from his mom, and they take him to the wilderness, and they give him a couple of tools, and while in the wilderness, they leave him alone. They leave him by himself. Some people may be watching him, but they leave him on the wilderness. In the wilderness, he has to learn how to hunt, how to survive, how to build a shelter, how to do all of that. And then once the time comes, they go and pick him up. And when they bring him back, they don't take him back to his house with his mom. They take him to his own hut that they built for him, that the villagers built for him. And so he becomes a man when he confronts his own fears, when he confronts his own darkness, and when he finds within himself what lies within himself, and when he's able to come up of his own. So this is super, super powerful, and I want you to think about that, because I want you to know that every one of us, we have everything within us to create the life that we desire, and that we are able to leave a true legacy behind us, because inside of every one of us lies the potential of greatness. And it's not about wanting to have the perfect time or having everything lined perfectly, because that's just not going to happen. I'm here to tell you that it's not going to happen. There may be perfect moments, but life is imperfect. But it's about knowing that you already possess. When you truly know in your heart, not in your mind, when you truly know that in you, you possess the tools to shape your future. You possess everything in you to achieve what you think is unachievable. It doesn't matter where you find yourself right now. And it doesn't matter what you've been through in your life or what you're lacking of. The reality is that you can take charge of your life right now. You've been equipped, and I want to drive this, because the question is, what lives inside of you? What lives inside of you? And in you, you have the strength, the resilience, the wisdom needed, that you need to navigate through the challenges that come before you. When you recognize that you are enough, and many of you are going to ask me, well, how do you know? Because God created you, man. He created His image. He deposited inside of you and I everything that we need. The only thing that's standing between you and achieving everything that you were created to be is your own doubts, is your own self. Because we're trying to achieve this success, and we're trying to be successful at this, successful dad, successful husband, successful businessman, successful worker, successful entrepreneur, everything. We want to find success, but true success isn't about fulfilling what society tells you. It's about aligning yourself. And I want to make sure that this is so clear, guys. It's when you align yourself with what you were born to be. That's success. When you find within yourself what has been deposited in you that is different than everybody else, and then you align yourself with that which was placed within you. It requires that you work on a daily basis, that you sacrifice, that you dedicate yourself to continue to bring that which is inside of you, because it's not easy. It's about having the courage to stay true to who you are. It's about to rise above all the distractions that the world brings at you. Man, you've been throwing stuff at you on a daily basis. There's so much stuff that comes your way through social media, to all these things, just who the world says you should be, and who the world says you shouldn't be, and it's just constant. What is a good that looks like, and I should be able to do this more and that less, and this that. When you align yourself with what has been deposited inside of you, that's success. Because you have the power to shape your own destiny. God already created a path for you. And all you have to do is step into that which is your destiny, and to make the choices to build a foundation for your own future. Every decision you make, every obstacle that you overcome, every action that you take brings you closer to creating that legacy that you meant to leave behind. And I want to talk to you about every single one of us. The only thing that is going to translate, and I repeat that again and again, the only thing that's going to translate beyond yourself is going to be the legacy that you leave behind. And the legacy is gonna speak for generations to come. But that legacy is not built overnight, guys. I'm here to tell you, it's not something that you just turn the switch on and off. The legacy is a life that you live with a purpose, with conviction, and a self-discipline. The power to build your legacy is in you. It's already been deposited inside of you. And I go back to Genesis. He created us to his image. He created you. He called you a man. He created you a son. He created you his own image. So it's already inside of you. And the world is waiting for you to step into your purpose. The world is anticipating you to step into your purpose. The earth is waiting for you to step into your purpose and make the impact that only you can make. You're like, Roger, how can I be an impact in I'm in the field, I'm working with cattle, or I'm in a boat, or how can I make an impact? Doing with passion what you were created to do and be. I'm not talking about doing the thing that we're not talking about the doing. I do this, I do that. It's what is inside of you when you do the things that you do with a passion and determination that people around you feel that there is something different about you. There's a TikTok. I don't know if you saw it. There is this kid who is playing with a band. I think in South America somewhere. He's playing with a band, and his job is to play the this little wooden thing that has all these strings that you have a little metal thing and you scratch it and big. This kid was dancing. The people were playing, and he was dancing and really joyful. He was not just doing what he was doing. He had the passion that was contagious, because there is inside of you something different. Your legacy is waiting to be written. So I'm going to encourage you to take the first step. Know who you are. What is inside of you is the most important thing that you can. If you want to take anything out of this podcast, it's understanding what is inside of us, guys. Embrace your potential. Let your life be a reflection of the strength and greatness that lies within you, which is God himself. And if you don't have God in your life, guys, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. Life is tough, man. Life is just hard. How do you do life without God? I mean, my God, it's like trying to move rocks outside without my tractor. I mean, trying to spray gravel without my tractor. I mean, it's trying to pull stuff without my trailer. I mean, come on, guys. How can you do life without God? You need to learn that you cannot do it on your own, but God has placed everything that you need inside of you to live your potential. And one of the most powerful things you can do as man is set goals on a daily basis that align with your purpose, that push you to become a better version of yourself, and it helps you to build the legacy that you want to leave behind. I wanna tell you a couple of things that I know that lives inside of you, and I wanna land this with my whole goal purpose is for you to see yourself in the mirror and see yourself completely different than you have in the past. To see yourself with this sort of like an inner Superman, an inner Iron Man that lives inside of you that you have not let out. And the world is anticipated, man. Think about it. Think about this. Think about Iron Man that or Superman that he knew he can become Superman and help the needy, but he never did it because he was afraid that somebody was going to criticize him. So he would not be able to fix or to come to the rescue to those who were in trouble because he was afraid, because he didn't care, he didn't know what he was inside of him. But let me tell you, you have a Superman inside of you, and the world is sounding the alarm. You have a Batman inside of you, guys. The light is shining, it's projecting, it's saying, would you come out? Would you become what you were created to become? And I'm going to tell you a few things that are inside of you that I want to remind you. So the first thing is that inside of you have that capacity for growth. Since you were created to the image of God, there is no limit of what you can accomplish. And if you're committed to the process, the sky is the limit because God is inside of you. In Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God has deposited everything. You can do everything. But you have that capacity. Inside of you is that capacity of growth and development. It's not just about a faith. It's a reminder that the strength and the true conviction that the strength of God lives inside of you. And you can overcome any obstacle and reach any goal that you set yourself. It's not about your own strength, guys. We can't do it on our own. But inside of you lives the capacity to grow, to develop, to change. The second thing that lives inside of you is the ability to overcome fears. Fear is one of the biggest things that holds men back. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not measuring up, fear of not being enough, fear of being ridiculed, fear of not being honored. It's all around us. God did not give us a spirit of fear, guys, but He gave us a spirit of love and self-control. Fear cannot define us anymore. Power to overcome it does. What is something that you're afraid of? The key to overcome fear is not the absence of the fear. It's not fear is just going to be gone, but a decision that you're going to have to go through it, even though you're afraid. The legacy makers are those that are willing to move forward despite of their own fear. It's what makes us a man. I'm afraid sometimes about things that I'm like, dude, how am I going to do this? But my family is expecting me to step up. I am the son of God. I am the son of the living God. How can I just sit back and not fight and not go through it? So what is inside of you is the ability to overcome your fear. Inside of you is the ability to constrain yourself, to deny yourself. As men, we often deal with desires, man, with temptation. And please, 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 don't give me that. Every man deals with temptations. Temptation of pride, temptation of lust of the flesh, lust of the eye. I've met with hundreds of men, and every man has one thing in common, that we all deal with temptations. And when that temptation is not controlled, it can lead us into paths that we do not want to go. And even if you've gone there, that's not the end. I know a guy that I was talking to, he was dealing with these temptations and he fell. He fell hardcore, man. So hard that his wife left him, his business fired him. It was just a tough time. He had everything that you can hope to have. Incredible career, incredible business, beautiful family, and he lost it all. But he fought. He fought through it, and it was a hard work. And it was a hard labor, but he overcame. But I'm going to tell you, man, you have the ability to have that self-control, resilience, to say, no, I don't want to. I don't want to give in to temptation. And when you have God, when you tap into God, He gives you the strength to resist temptation. When you can't do it, say, God, just help me, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta have your help. When you lean in your own control, man, it doesn't work. It may work for a week or 3 or a month, 2 months. You're gonna find yourself in the right same spot. And the reason is because you have not tapped into that which lives inside of you, the ability to have the fruit of the Spirit, the self-control that gives you the strength to say, I can't do it, but God help me. And when you have the ability to say no to the short-term gratification, it will allow you to build a legacy that's gonna last forever. And I'm here to tell you, man, there is no greater thing to build a legacy that is gonna transcend generations. I remember a movie that I watched, Braveheart. Many of you have watched it. And Wallace, he was like, I don't want to live in this. I don't want to live in this fear, in this situation. I don't want to live in this slavery. I don't want to live in this bondage. I don't want to live in this tyranny. I want to step up and do something different. I want to step up and go through my own fear. I want to tap into what is inside of me. And he was determined to lead the people of his village into freedom. And they scream, give me freedom, give me death. He didn't care. And people follow him because he was resilient, because he tapped into what it was inside of him. He tapped into what he was created to do and be. What is inside of you is the ability to love deeply. A real man is not afraid to love deeply, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, your community, your wife. The world paints a picture of a man being unemotional, disconnected, or dumb. Man, that's just far from the truth, guys. True masculinity is rooted in love. In fact, the Bible says that we ought to love our wives as Christ loved the church. How did he love the church? He died. Are you willing to die for your family? Are you willing to give up yourself, die to yourself, die to your desires, die to your own? It's just simple as that. Simple as that. Are you willing to die? Because the ability to love deeply is a strength. It's not a weakness. It's strength that lives inside of you. And all you got to do is tap into that. Because the ability to love is a reflection of the character that lives in you. And I'm telling you what, you were created to the image of God. That means that you created to love one another. The next thing that lives inside of you is that you are able to achieve greatness through consistency. Guys, greatness is not about one-time breakthrough. I wish it was. Or a lucky break. Oh, I have my break. The true greatness is inside of you, is that consistency. It's about showing up every day and do the work. Making small decisions that will add up over time. It's about those quiet moments of discipline and sacrifice that true greatness is built. We must learn, guys, to embrace discipline. It cannot be a burden anymore. It has to be a pathway to success. I remember when I got my puppy first about 7 years ago, and I tell you, Max, many of you know him. He was a wild dude, man. He loved to run. He had so much energy. So I had to take him out for a run. The first time I went out, I ran for less than a quarter of a mile, and I thought I ran a marathon. I was exhausted. I was breathing hard. I felt like my heart was gonna come on my chest. I felt dried. It was just awful. And I went less than a quarter mile, came back. And the next day I did the same thing, came back. The next day I did the same thing, came back for a whole week. Then I started doing a little bit more, and then a little bit more, then a little bit more. I put the work in because I wanted to build a consistency. And today, I can run 5 miles with not even thinking about it. If you tell me right now, hey Roger, let's go for a marathon run, I'll go for a marathon run. There's just nothing within me that prevents me from doing that. I mean, and I'm not a runner, because I know a lot of people are listening to this and how do you train and all stuff. Man, I just go for a run. I just grab my gear and just go for it. And that's not the right way to do it, and that's how I do it. Of course I stretch, but man, I just go. But what I'm trying to tell you is that inside of you is the ability to achieve greatness through consistency. Be consistent. Small steps. If social media is something that is causing you to have a bad thought or looking at something that you should not be looking, small steps. I'm going to not look at social media tonight, or I'm going to look at 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes, or 30 minutes instead of an hour, whatever it is. Small steps is going to lead you into greatness. The last thing that is inside of you is the inside of you lives the man that God created to be. That's simple. Inside of you resides the man that God created you to be. At the heart, this is the simple truth, guys. You can be the man you were created to be, period. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter where you're starting from, no matter if you feel like your life is at the end, no matter if you feel like you have just started, you don't know where to go, no matter where you are created for greatness. And inside of you resides the man that God created you to be. God is making a call inside of you to come out, to come out. Every man has a purpose and a reason for being here. What is your purpose? The moment that you realize that you have a purpose and that you align with that, then that moment everything is going to change. Everything. You don't need to look to the world validation or to define you. Your identity is rooted in the fact that you were made in God's image. Period. You were made in God's image. And with that comes great power, great responsibility to step into that, because you will have the ability and the power to build and overcome and be a legacy maker. So to finish, I want to tell you that you got what it takes to be the legacy maker that you were created to be. And the journey begins now. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Roger Salazar. I'm your host. And stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to have an incredible guest and you don't want to miss it. Again, share it with somebody, because I know somebody's waiting for the podcast to come their way. Talk to you soon, guys. God bless you.